Turn on the be okay. Greetings, brothers and sisters. Tonight is March 2nd, 2024. My name is Brother John. I serve as president for the Atlanta Division 421 of the UNIA-ACL. Tonight is our study group, and we're focusing on the UNIA-ACL Constitution. And tonight's we'll be going over the Constitution, Articles 11 through 15, hopefully. Constitution. Let me switch my. Shoot, I'm not ready for that. Got the boxes in the wrong spots. I don't know what I was doing. Okay, I'm getting ready to share the screen in just a second, but the first question will be the last question that we had from last week as we prepare for High Executive Council per the Constitution, Article 10. What shall the Executive Council decide? We know what the sitting is in sitting of the Executive Council. It describes what the Executive Council shall decide, and we should know this as we prepare for our Executive Council. Anyone know this? Remember this? This was the last question from last week. We got our constitutions. Okay.
But it was two, natural and active, or something to that effect.
Natural and active? No. It's basically the purpose of, I would argue, the purpose of the calling of High Executive Council. Article 10 is titled Sitting of Executive Council. We're not going to belabor it, but we do need to know these things. Executive, and this is more so for our veteran leaders, new members. This is our first time seeing this, so that's not expected. But the Executive Council shall also address all matters affecting the good and welfare of the organization and its members at large. So hold on. Let me go to the Constitution on that. It's better in the Constitution. I think I was.
Never mind, man. I'm looking at the first one.
Okay.
The types of members. That's what I was answering. I didn't realize you was at number 4.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Maybe I should have clarified that. So let me go to the Constitution. This is the 2021, March 2021. This is not the latest and greatest. Oh, we got 2 people in the waiting room. Okay. Not the latest and greatest, but this is something that we can share, I would argue. So, see how Chancellor, Auditor General, Chaplain General. This is page. Oh, okay, that was Article 5. I'm looking for Article 10. Not Article 10. Sitting of Executive Council. Which is the Executive Council, shall decide all questions arising from divisions and all matters affecting the organization, both internal and external. The Executive Council shall also address all matters affecting the good and welfare of the organization and its members at large. So, as we've talked about locally, there are times that come up when we have questions, we have concerns, we would like to have answers, we would like clarification. High Executive Council, I would argue, is the place to do that. And we've been working through resolutions, amendments, and proposals over the past few weeks. I think the deadline to submit was at the end of last month, so a couple days ago. But per the Constitution, we would argue that that is the part of the major role of having high executive council is to have questions answered. Any questions on that? Comments, concerns? But again, I'll read the whole thing. The Executive Council of UNIA-ACL shall assemble at the headquarters of the association or any other designated location and shall consist of all high officers of the association and others elected thereto. The president, general, and administrator shall be its chairman, and in his absence, first assistant president general, first assistant president general, and secretary general, its secretary. And then it says what I said. It shall decide. So this is who, let me see. Consist of all high officers of the association. This is where, at the headquarters or any other designated location. That's where. This is who. I probably should have included that. All the high officers of the associations and others elected there too. President, general, and administrator shall be its chairman. So that's defining a position. In his absence, first assistant president general and secretary general shall be its secretary. So it's letting you know who shall be there, the roles of certain individuals. And then I would argue this is the purpose. Shall decide all questions arising from divisions and all matters affecting the organization, both internal and external. Executive council shall also address all matters affecting good and welfare of the organization and its members at large. So again, just very important. We ended with that last week. I think it's important that we start with that this week as we are, under 2 weeks from High Executive Council. Okay.
You asked if there were any questions. I have a question.
Go ahead.
How do you go about placing, your concerns if you have, and how often or how immediate can it be addressed, or do you have to wait for the High Executive Council meeting like the one we will be attending in April? Or is it something that if there is an issue and you send it through, they can call for a meeting and it can be looked into and tabled and addressed?
Well, yes, the issues can always be looked into and addressed throughout the year. However, those responses, you may not get those responses in a timely manner. And as far as how to submit those issues, that's done through the division. I think it may have been a little bit of my fault on my part. We've had some meetings recently amongst our executive body to discuss proposals, resolutions, and amendments, and we have quite a few. If there may be some leniency to submit an additional at this time, but if that is the case, we need to know what that is immediately. But at the end of the day, you should have been involved in our executive meetings to present those proposals.
Thank you, President. You've answered me. So that means you have to, if you have issues, you raise them with your executive committee at division level, and it is the executive committee at division level that will take it up to HEC.
Yes, exactly.
And it doesn't really have to wait for a convention or conference like the yearly conference. It can be tabled at any time of the year when the issue is raised.
Yes, we can always make a request to have an issue discussed at either an HEC meeting or at the president's meeting, which are monthly meetings. We can always request to have, and I just spoke with our council general about this today, but we can always request to have items added to the agenda, so to speak.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Great question. Any other questions on sitting of executive council? If there aren't, there's a couple things we did have some omissions on, which I wanted to clean up before we closed out. Before we closed out this section of the Constitution, which is actually, it's the Constitution section of the Constitution. But we talked about that day one, and I'll kind of recap that a little bit tonight as well. But there were a couple of things that we missed because I made the questions or the PowerPoint based off of the draft copy of the Constitution, not the actual copy. And there are some differences and some discrepancies. One of those questions is in regards to the Secretary General. And does anyone know, per Article 5, how much is the Secretary General provided annually to carry out, I put his or her responsibilities?
President John, are you saying that the Secretary General gets a budget?
Great question. Yes, I am.
Since when was that implemented? Because I remember when I was the president of the local 421, Secretary General never had a budget. So I was just wondering, when did that get implemented?
You have did I get you a copy of the Constitution?
Yeah, you sent me a copy.
Well, you have a physical copy? You got the updated, the yellow?
No, I don't have the physical copy.
Ross, I gotta get, why you ain't tell me that? Yeah, come on now.
Digital.
I need to get you the physical yellow book, and I'll make sure I take care of that immediately. But per that text, the large book, page 21, I don't know what page it is on the small book, but it lists, it was amended and added 2018, 2016 first, and then 2018 second time.
Okay, so it was the budget or the stipend? Which one were you asking?
I just say how much money, whether we call it a budget or a stipend.
Because it was given $1,000 per fiscal year for expenses, but then in 2018, a 500 annual stipend will be given to the Office of Secretary General for travel and or hotel expenses. So that's in including, not in lieu of. So 1,500.
Yes, $1,500 annually per Article 5, Section 16. This is something that wasn't in the draft, but per my understanding, these were amended at those times, 2016 and 2018. And with the 2021 Constitution updates, they were documented as amendments in this recent Constitution.
Is the Secretary General the only office that gets compensation?
Currently, I believe so. And yeah, brother Ross, I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna put you as a co-host because I got it at oh, you already kind of host anyway. We gotta admit people. It's a waiting room. I couldn't get it set up for some reason. But yes, she is the only office that I am aware of that has a budget.
10-4.
Wow. I want to cry when I see these figures.
We got work to do. Let's just say that. But this is the reality. This is our Constitution. So, Brother Malik confirmed that. This is straight from the text.
But then this definitely needs to change, President John. There's no way an office can operate with $1,000 budget. This really needs to change, because if we do raise funds, are they gonna be referring to the Constitution and that the Secretary General must operate on this kind of a budget? It won't get us far. This needs to be amended.
I
It should
understand.
actually, maybe it should state that when there's more funds, it can increase.
Yes, that's what I was
But for now, because there is no funding, this is why the figures are looking like this.
exactly. As President Ross confirmed, this is the only office that currently has a budget. And we would like to at least, before we get the Secretary General to 100,000 a year, let's get,
The other officers.
officers, at
Thank you.
15,000 a year.
Thank you, Press. Thank you.
Oh, great point. Sister Mukarabi, you got your hand up. Yeah, you got audio. Mama Mukarabi, you there? Mukaraba?
All right, I was trying to get there.
We got you. You okay?
What about division was that? Yes, we didn't. I mean, a lot of things fell off. Membership fell off. So a lot of things fell off on implementation. This is the first time we're having. I joined 30 years ago, and we did not have a class like for orientation. I just orientated my own stuff.
Mama Mukarabi, you're a little low. Can you get closer to the mic? Can you get closer? You're muted again. But I understood what you said. Go ahead.
Division secretary, I said in the comment was that a lot of things go on because of with the heartbreak of Brother Marcus Garvey losing. People were crying, thousands and thousands and thousands of people came to tears and cried. My sister told me about how they raised the white handkerchief. Anyway, so a lot of things weren't implemented. This is our first time having orientation. I joined 30 years ago, and we're just getting organized enough to be organized because of membership growth. So all you need, and rigorous and informative or special skilled newcoming people, make sure you pick up some of work and donate the talents and the skills to work and developing UNIA government, because you see how vital it is to the whole world of our people anyway. So I've been doing a good job uniting them here in Detroit, but that's another discussion. Right now, let's just do the best we can with what we have, and we're going to have to get our money situation together. On as far as all we gotta do is just keep raising, just keep going higher, working more people involved, and that'll be good. But they got to be the right people. They have to be honest, transparent. They have to be to race first, not their own personal development or program or embellishment, because that's not. I'm telling you, I put myself on hold all these years and devoted 24/7 as assisting him as the fund, what do you call it, event coordinator, secretary, treasurer, and lady president. So you all can do it, and don't hesitate. And I don't know, you gotta have love. You gotta have the love for the people, the love for our race, love for Michael Garvey, love for yourself, love for your children. You got to develop that love so you're motivated to do the work because you do it without pay. Okay, it's volunteer. You know, and all of you should be willing to do that because that it'll help the rate. Yes, I had a husband say, "Why are you doing that? You ain't getting paid." And I said, "Yeah, but it's helping. That race is going to help me. You know, just like the lady when I was on the block club. Oh, we gonna clean up the alley. She don't want to help clean up the alley. I said, yeah, baby, but your neighbor have rats. You won't have rats too. So yeah.
Mukaraba, can we get back to the lesson? Mukaraba.
One other question, President John.
Yes, Ross Marvin.
Is the budget for the Secretary General taken out of the dues that's sent to the parent body?
I would argue, let's see, it just says, and I'll read it. Secretary General and Brother Malik read it, shall be given $1,000 per fiscal year for expenses. Secretary General will submit a budget proposal. Then $1,000 stipend will be forwarded to the Office of Secretary General. Amendment from 2018, a $500 annual stipend will be given to the Office of Secretary General for travel and hotel expenses for High Executive Council or convention, effective HEC 2019. This seems, I would argue, is parent body fund.
Parent body fund meaning that it's from the dues.
Yes.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. I mean, that's the only fund we really got. You know, we got the African Redemption Fund, but we don't use that. I don't think it could be African Redemption Fund, but I'm pretty sure it's
Have we had a recent report, financial report from the High Chancellor?
HEC here in Atlanta. High Chancellor does give a report at each of our in-person meetings. I give him that.
Okay, so the last one was last year.
No, they had one in Curacao, I'm sure, but we didn't attend that, so.
Okay.
We had some trouble at High Executive Council meeting last year because it was brought up by Brother Hadas that the audit had not been done, that was already at the High Executive Committee. So I put in a resolution for that audit to take place immediately as for our High Executive Council. So you guys take care of doing good work.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. Yeah, we're looking at trying to enforce the role of Auditor General, which we haven't had. That's our approach, but we definitely need to, come at them different ways, different ideas. So I'd like to move on to the next question. We've been on the first question for 30 minutes. There is and I mean, I don't know it's important, it's a shock to some, but just take note of it. The Secretary General is compensated $1,500 for to help her get her work done. And that's in the Constitution. Next question. In regards to records, VACA, all bank statements are part of whose report? Who provides a report for the bank statements? This is listed in section 19.
The High Chancellor.
High Chancellor. Is it the High Chancellor? Yes, all bank statements will become a part of the High Chancellor's. But this is one thing that is missing. I don't think there's a quarterly report. I think it's only at HEC and convention. I don't think we get a quarterly report. Sister Mukaraba, I see you got your hand up again.
Okay, I'm open. The thing that I asked, and the reason I am stopping you is I asked about the division secretaries, the amount that they are to have.
That is
Are they- Okay,
that's up to each division. Sister Mukaraba.
okay. I heard you. Thank you.
Yes. Matter of fact, let's talk about that. We will discuss this locally again at our executive meeting. Division salaries. Is that the word? Spelled division wrong. Sorry. Divisional. This is not gonna work. Let me try salary. No salary in there. Okay. 4. Yeah, here we go. Salaries of divisional officers. I'm putting divisional salaries. Salaries of divisional. Officers of local divisions who give their entire time to the working of local divisions shall receive for their services according to the ruling of the membership of such local division. And all such salaries shall be conditional on the local division having at its disposal sufficient funds in its treasury to make payment if such is possible. So it's in the ruling of local divisions. Sister Mukaraba, we good? Hope we are.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. That takes care of the Article 5 omissions. There was some, this is supposed to be first. Article 4 omissions. According to the 2020 election policy, how long must a dues paying member be registered prior to the election for HEC in order to vote is kind of where it's going. How long must a member be registered prior to HEC if they would like to vote?
2 years.
2 years? That's a long time.
2 to 3 months. 2 to 3 months.
2 to 3
I
months.
think it's 30
It's 3
days,
months.
you guys.
I think it's 90 days.
Yes.
Section 2 of Article 4, if anybody has that readily available.
Oh, thank you. I think I got it mixed up with the other one. That's 2 years. Thanks. I'll remember this. 90 days.
Yeah, 2 years in order to run for office, but 90 days in order to vote. It's a big distinction.
What's it, 90 days? I'm sorry. Can I say something?
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you. This is Doreen 407. So you say 90 days, if a person was already a member and returned, or are they a member? What's the time limit for that?
Hold on 1 second.
Please, thank you.
No problem. I'm trying to find where I got this from.
'Cause I thought
So this is amendment from August 2021, adopt the 2020 election policy of the election committee. Candidates must, candidates must submit declaration to run form by annual HEC meeting of the election year. So that's talking about running for office. Candidates must also submit a position statement and participate in the candidate forum. Any new dues paying member wishing to vote in the election must be registered at least 90 days prior to the election for HEC. This is to prevent a division from signing up a bunch of members at the last second and trying to carry a vote. So 90 days for new members.
how does that work at the division level?
I didn't hear you a little bit mumbled.
Oh, somebody came in. How does that work at the division level?
That is up to division. That's a division. Division rules per constitution are listed in the general law section. But I would say that, the way we handle it from a division, we have that level of autonomy to decide those rules. But I would, the local executive body would make that decision.
Oh, the local executive body. Okay, thank you.
That's what I would say as president.
I would say so too. Thank you.
Some of our, things that people kind of, our divisions function differently. I'll just put it that way. But
we need to get more unified on that.
that's the importance of the Constitution. we should all be abiding by the Constitution. Brother Anthony, I saw you had your hand up, and Lady President. Greetings, Lady President. Brother Anthony, you want to go first, or would you defer?
I'll defer.
Thank you, my brother. Lady President.
Greetings, President. Greetings, family. President, where are we?
What? We are in Constitution, Article 4, Section 2. So I've got the large Constitution. Let me get the small Constitution. On large Constitution is page 13. On the small Constitution, look like it's further out. It is on page. What in the world? It's small Constitution, crazy. I don't know how y'all use this. It is on page 16 of the small Constitution.
Because I noticed like what you're showing is like certain things are in bold, but it's not bold in the small one. So it kind of threw me off a little bit.
What you mean? You talking about? You
Oh,
talking?
never mind. Don't fret. Don't fret. I was just saying, but continue.
All right. Any questions on? Well, Brother Anthony, you had your hand up.
I was gonna say to all those keep asking that ask about divisions and how they do it. Each division has the right to have bylaws as long as they do not go against the Constitution
Right.
of our parent body. So you have to check with your division to see if y'all have bylaws set up so that you could actually have it in a legal manner, or it would be just left up to the division as far as president and how he sees it for the most part.
Right.
Each division can set up a bylaw committee though to actually install bylaws for their division.
But the Constitution does give our division presidents a level of significant authority. I'll just put it that
Yes.
way. It even says we have the power of the President General within our jurisdiction.
Yes.
So it's kind of, it can be difficult to argue with the president's saying if they wish to be that way.
President John,
Yes, President Ross Marvin.
the 90-day rule, was that in effect in 2020 election or it ended up to be 2021 election?
Let me see.
Because I know it wasn't in effect in 2016 when PG Duncan came into office, because I think what happened at the convention in 2016 is that a whole bunch of people from New York signed up at the last minute and voted for PG Duncan.
It's a good question.
Technically, it was in effect. Technically, it was in effect, but the Constitution books didn't come out until after the actual election. After it came out, they were passed out at the end of that convention.
2020 policy was being enforced during the 2021 election.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Brother Anthony.
No problem.
President Ross, we good?
Yeah, so you say it was in effect in 2020?
It was. So everyone that voted should have shown a record of being a member at least 90 days prior to election or HEC.
The reason why I say
Convention. But remember that convention was one that was not very well visited because of COVID.
Right.
That was when the restrictions had lifted, but most people still afraid that if they went to New York, they couldn't come back.
Right. Yeah. I didn't like that at all. And then PG1 came in there with COVID.
Oh man.
I know it wasn't in effect in 2016 because in 2016 they took nominations on the floor for the PG, and I think that's something that just came into effect 2021.
It's on page
That's a great question.
for those that have their small constitutions, I believe that was page 19. No, it's not 19. Page 16. Any other questions on election policy from 2020 for high office? Okay. Next question, according to the 2021 amendments, when should all vacant and or appointed positions be filled by the President General?
3 months and a special election and the confirmation held at the next convention.
That's absolutely right. Within 3 months and confirmed through special election at the next convention. So per the Constitution and per the 2021 amendments, we should have a fully staffed high council is what the Constitution says. I'll say what I'm saying. Questions, comments on that? Section 2B. Yeah.
I'm expecting for the youth to get this in order because you all are highly capable of organizing and ordering everything that's not being done. Instead of ones that want to try and do something else different or new or start a new one, build on what you already have and fill up your divisions with people. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Ajay, vice versa.
Thank you.
Yes, I agree.
Okay, next question. What actions can cause a person to be disqualified as an elected or appointed divisional or high exec? I don't think that's I don't know. Oh, failure. I don't know what that. I'm gonna just read it. What actions can cause a person to be disqualified as an elected or appointed divisional or high executive council officer? Disqualification of a high officer. And this comes from Article 4. I see it right now. Failure of official to qualify, the August 2021 amendment. So yeah, that's what the omissions were, is the 2020 amendment.
You mean in the part where it says, no person shall be elected or appointed
Yes.
division of high executive council who shall have been duly tried and convicted to have engaged in insurrection, rebellion, theft, or competition against the Constitution or Universal Negro Improvement Association and African Communities League, or even aided and abetted the enemies thereof.
Yes. Yes. Thank you, Lady President. But very clear, per the Constitution, it talks about failure of officials to qualify for high council. Any questions on?
Comment.
Yes, Mukaraba.
Insubordination is going to count as when you're going against your elders and your leadership, the wisdom of the elders, then I think you're going against the government.
Sister Mukaraba, just hold on. We end this meeting. We'll end this meeting, or towards the end, we'll talk about the Elders Council, and the role of the Elders Council. And I think what you're saying fits in the role of the Elders Council. Okay, we will continue from last week. We were on Article 11 of Constitution. Who has the responsibility to have the books and accounts of the UNIA audited, and how often are those books audited per the Constitution? Article 11.
Auditing accounts.
Yes. Let me see. I'm trying to find it in the small book. Yeah, auditing accounts. That's it.
That's on page 31 in the big book.
41 in the small book.
31.
President
But I would read it, but I don't know which part I'm supposed to read. It's two different sections. One is an amended. The amended part.
I've gone by the amended part, yes.
The President General shall cause the books and accounts of the High Chancellor and subordinate officers to be audited twice a year follows. All accounts for the 6 months ending July 31st within 15 days after that date. July 15th is the audit. Within 15 days. For this purpose, he shall call upon the Auditor General and also appoint an expert accountant who shall make a thorough examination and shall submit a report to the President General, who shall cause its publication in the regular journal of the society.
Yes, ma'am. I don't think we have been doing that. We've talked about the role of Auditor General, and it's also even includes an expert accountant. But these audits should be occurring at least twice a year, and they should be published in our, I don't know, it should be published or recorded in some way. Any questions on auditing the books of the UNIA-ACL? Per constitution.
Yeah, it doesn't say what's the 2 dates. Now above, does it say 2 dates above, you guys?
I think they got
But
this.
anyway, you need to know the 2 dates.
You're right. All accounts for 6 months ending within 5 days after that date.
So does that make it July and January?
Yeah, in the original constitution, it says July and January explicitly. In the amendment,
Okay,
it took out the January part.
okay. But that's because we didn't have enough people on our constitutional revision stuff.
Right.
I was missing a lot of the time. I would have stopped a lot of this.
Yes. So that could have been an error.
I was sick.
That was 2021. We had a lot going on that year. So people trying to survive. All right. If there aren't any questions, any other questions, I would like to go to the next question. Trying to make some progress tonight. Who is responsible to suspend officers for misappropriation?
Misappropriation?
Mm-hmm.
Auditor General.
You said Auditor General?
I'm sorry, what?
Who shall be
no.
responsible to suspend officers for
That would
misappropriation?
be President General.
President General.
That's it. I've got President General with the consent of the Executive Council. So if said report show any errors of importance or misappropriation of funds of any officer so responsible, it shall be the duty of the President General with the consent of the Executive Council. So duty of the President General with the consent. Interesting. To suspend such officers, and he shall instruct Council General to proceed at once legally to secure the UNIA-ACL from loss and in accordance with the bond or bonds of said officer or officers. So this is supposed to be a consequence related to the previous question. If our accounts, if our reports have errors, misappropriation, we're supposed to be held accountable. But you know, we have to have those audits to do that. Questions on misappropriation?
I think this is a fair process, that it's not only the President General alone who calls the shots, but he needs to have consent from the Executive Council.
Yes, that's what I was reading close and in depth, that the duty of the President General, but with the consent. So it's like it's the president's job, but I would argue it's the Executive Council's decision. You know, the Executive Council says we want to, you know, this person needs to be reprimanded, and then the President General carries
Implements it.
Yes, but I think we kind of I'm not gonna get into it. We good on misappropriation. Okay, we'll go to fiscal year. When does the fiscal year of the UNIA-ACL begin?
The first day of the new year, January 1st.
First day of the new year, January 1st.
I would say so.
All right, good.
Our fiscal year was June.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Per Constitution, Section 3, fiscal year of the Universal Negro Improvement Association shall commence on the first day of June and end on the 31st day of May each year. So per Constitution, our fiscal year goes from June until May. Page 42, small Constitution. I don't have it on the large Constitution.
Is that coincide with what we just said on audits?
Let me see. I think so. Well, June, let me see. First day of June. What was the audit? Audits was Article 11.
One said July.
Ending July, June, July.
Said the 15 days after July the 31st. That
Yeah,
is
it said
due.
it starts on June 1st, but the accounts for the first 6 months are due July 31st. That is a little, I don't know, don't match up,
We're gonna have to make a match
you know.
so that it's concise. Well,
That's interesting. Good catch, Mr. McGraw. If there aren't any other questions, I would like to move on to section or Article 12. A lot of questions in Article 12. First one, where shall all of the employees of the UNIA be recruited from?
melanated people. No.
All employees of the UNIA should be recruited from where per the Constitution?
The race.
The race is more specific.
The division.
The division is more specific.
Civil servants.
Civil servants. Civil service. Article 12, title of Article 12 is the civil service. First thing, Article 1, the civil service shall be established by the UNIA. From this civil service shall be recruited all employees of the association per Constitution. Any questions?
What it defines civil service?
Does that actually exist?
No, it doesn't.
We're gonna have to implement it.
It needs to be.
That's why we're going over this, so we'll know what's the law and we
Yeah,
can
don't even know,
implement it.
we don't even know what we're missing sometimes. But it does get into, we've got the roles of the civil service in the later questions. But per section 1, all from this civil service shall be recruited all employees of the association. Page 42, small book. Anybody got the large book?
I do.
You know where Article 12 is?
Yes, I'm on it.
What page is that?
Page 32.
Okay.
If I'm in the right place of civil servants.
Yep, you're right. And what does yours say?
At the top, it says a civil service shall be established by the Universal Negro Improvement Association. From this civil service shall be recruited all employees of the association. Preference of civil servants.
One second. Hold on.
Section 2.
Well, hold on, McGraw. You about to get an answer to the second. Who should have preference in regards to employment? That was the next question. Section 2.
Oh, okay, so that would be the civil servants membership.
Yes. Per Constitution, Section 2, a civil servant shall have precedence over and preference to all persons employed or to be employed by the UNIA.
So will that a civil servant as and what you say?
I can't do it, mister.
If you say civil servant in the community, would that be like when you do your work, like community organizing or starting some school or starting an institution and a academy or say a community-based organization? Would that be civil service?
No,
Or
civil service is defined in section 6. We'll get to that in a couple questions. We
all
didn't
right,
take the Constitution the way it is, but we're going through it section at a time, but they chose to define what the civil service was in section 6.
okay.
So I think that's where what are the requirements to be placed on the civil service?
Read it.
What are the requirements to be on the civil service?
They have to pass an exam on general education tests as laid down by the official examiners. And in addition, such persons shall be required to give evidence of good moral character and honesty.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Second Vice President. Let me see. Let's see if I can pull that up. Let me see. We're in Article 12. See if I can pull it up on the computer for everybody. Article 12, Civil Service. So in order to be on the civil service examination, all persons to be placed on the civil service shall first be obliged to pass an examination on general education tests as laid down by the official examiner. And in addition thereto, such persons shall be required to give evidence of good moral character and honesty. So there are requirements to be on the civil service. On the civil service. I think that is the right term. Questions, comments so far?
Is this at division level or only at the
This
HEC level?
is leadership, HEC, parent body level.
Okay.
Division can create, well, I don't know. I would think we can create our own civil service, but we should probably pull from leadership's establishment of civil service.
Thank you. So at the division level, this civil service department is not existing at the moment.
Correct. Even on the high level, it's not existing.
And
Okay.
I think isn't it supposed to exist at both levels?
Possibly. Let me get through these questions. Let me get through these questions.
Okay, section 9.
Hold on. No.
Oh.
Wait. Hold on. What is the Civil Service Commission?
Okay. The Civil Service Commission, the persons appointed by the administrator to serve with him as official examiners, shall be known as the Civil Service Commission. And the Civil Service Commission, together with the administrator, shall compose the Board of Civil Service Examiners. They shall designate the subjects in which applicants shall be examined, and shall also prescribe the rules and regulations governing the examinations of applicants.
And
That's page 32.
Yes. One thing to add, when it says the administrator, I thought it was President General, but that's mentioned in the section 5. The official examiner shall be the administrator per the Civil Service Commission. Any questions on Civil Service Commission?
Who is the official examiner at the moment?
There is not one. Not for the civil service. We do have a official examiner per our Minister of Education for the orientation exam, but not per Civil Service Commission.
So this means then nobody can be employed if this part of the Constitution is not implemented, because you have to have these. That's section 2 of above, before section 4. You need to have all those in place before you can be employed by the UNIA.
I agree. Per our constitution, if we expect to have employment, we need to establish our civil service commission.
I wanted to add, this is Sister Lori.
Greetings, sister.
Greetings, folks. Also, you can't have a commission or a committee of one person.
Hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
And that seems to be the going rate here. So we have to have a group of people, and then they have to make a decision as to what should be included in this test that they're in or examination that they're talking about. And because it says with him as official examiners. So it sounds like it should be at least more than one. Okay, you can have an administrator as the leader, but in this case, this administrator that they're talking about is the president general. So I'm thinking, and I'm still not clear as we process through this.
Oh, wow.
What the civil service is all about anyway.
Oh, yeah,
So
you are
I'll be
correct.
quiet.
You are correct when it talks about the administrator of the UNIA-ACL. That's the president general.
Right, but like I said, any kind of commission or group that anything that you have like that, it can't be a committee or a person of one person. You know, there has to be a group of people,
What
at least
person?
3, I would say.
Well, here it doesn't define any number. It just says persons appointed by the administrator to serve with him. That could be one, that could be two, you know.
No, not if it's persons. S means more than one. So it has to be at least 2.
That ain't gonna help.
Huh?
And you probably
I don't
are.
know if two is enough. That's all.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
I just said I don't know if 2 is enough. I feel like we.
No, I know 2 isn't enough, but I'm saying when you see the word persons, that is plural.
Right.
In the English language.
Right.
And
Well,
plural always means more than one.
Well, you have enough presidents to some of them to have more than one position. And you have to do that to start out sometimes. Because I was telling you, I had to do all these different positions when I was helping out in Detroit. So
I understand.
you gotta be, I think we should should be allowed to have more than one position.
But then you're just talking about what happened in one division. But I'm saying with all of these divisions, surely we can get more than one person.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, understand. Okay, let's keep moving. Let's try to make some progress. Next question, straightforward. What do you get when you pass? What does an individual get when they pass the civil service examination?
Certificate. A certificate.
Yes. Section 7, all applicants who have passed the civil service examination shall be given a certificate as proof thereof. And promotions in the UNIA shall be made from what list? And this is employment promotions.
All promotions in the Universal Negro Improvement Association shall be made from the civil service list of the association.
Yes. And that is listed in Article 3. We overlooked that, but it repeats it in Section 8. That's why I didn't go through it in detail. But again, until we get a civil service, there ain't gonna be no promotions. Which officers of local division shall automatically be members of the civil service per the Constitution?
All executive secretaries of local divisions shall be members of the civil service.
Yes. So I'm assuming that those individuals would need to complete the examinations, but per the Constitution, executive secretaries are expected to be members of the civil service. Questions, comments on Article 12?
And with that, this Brother Marua, everyone, race first.
Race first.
With that, we know that we don't have many executive secretaries in divisions. We don't have one in Division 4-1 here in Chicago. I know one executive secretary is in 121. But as far as the executive secretaries, they need to be a member of the civil service. You know, and it's important for us to realize that, you know, we all are a part of the UNIA. We got a lot of work to do. You know, we have to actually get members in to, you know, I mean, we can, you know, say what, I mean, the Constitution tells us how it should work, but we have to get the members in. We have to get the members in and the funds. So, you know, when we start talking about employment, you know, I mean, I don't know how much employment we could have with no money. So, I mean, we have to, you know, we must come up with ways in which to make money and you know, bring in funds. You know, when we look at the UNIA and what the Honorable Marcus Garvey did, he had millions of people. He had members that would go out and, you know, and you know, they made money. We have to make money.
Yes, sir.
That's my comment.
Yes, sir.
So we have a lot of work to do, Africans.
Yes, sir. Any other questions, comments? We touch on some funds in Article 13, so that's coming up. There's a lot of information in the Constitution around passports. Does anybody know what the purpose of the passports was per the Constitution?
For the purpose, is that Article Section 2? Each and every member who desires a passport identification for the purpose of travel or for the purpose of receiving recognition, consideration, and likely help from other branches, or for the purpose of proving connection with a regular organization or with a branch of the Universal Negro Improvement Association. These passports shall be supplied with one of these passports. Wait a minute. Shall be supplied with one of these passports at any division. I don't know, that didn't read too clear. But let's start over with it. A regular organization or with a branch of the Universal Negro Improvement Association shall be supplied with one of these passports. Let's see how that goes again. For the purpose of receiving recognition, consideration, and likely help from other branches, or for the purpose of proving connection with the regular organization, or with a branch of the Universal Negro Improvement Association, shall be supplied with one of these passports at any division of the organization by the executive secretary of that division, at which application is duly made.
Thank you, Sister McRobin.
Was the reading clear enough?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
For the purpose of travel, for the purpose of receiving recognition, consideration, likely help from other branches, or for the purpose of proving connection with a regular organization or with a branch of the UNIA, shall be supplied with one of these passports at any division of the organization by the executive secretary of that division at which application is duly made. Let's see what I've got written in here. Travel, yeah, same thing it says in Constitution. Yeah, so I didn't go too deep into the passports, but I did touch on, talks about having identification, using it for identification, sum of $2. I felt the purpose was most important. Any questions on passports? Passports identifications, Article 13.
Yeah, your division was providing, well, not necessarily passports, but at least identification cards,
Yes, ma'am.
you know.
Yes.
So that's not the same
They
thing.
they look very nice too.
They were beautiful.
Ross Marvin's work.
Yes.
You want to comment on that?
Yes, it was wonderful. And it had all the information on it that you needed, and it lasted from 1 year to the next. And I think that at least we could use that as an official identification, you know, model. Maybe not a passport, but at least it is an identification card. You know, it's like you can use it for identification in certain places as well, because it has it doesn't have your address on it, but it has your name and it has your photograph and
Well,
a couple of identifying qualities.
we actually Ross Marvin recently started adding address as well. One of our members had an issue because their ID didn't have an address, so we just made it a policy. Well, he made it a policy moving forward to have an address so that
Okay, so that's even more so.
it shouldn't be a concern for a valid second ID. Ross Marvin, you there? You're on mute if you're there. Okay, he stepped away on me. When he comes back, remind me to ask him about that.
Okay.
Next question. According to Article 13, what is the current contribution required by the African Redemption Fund or required to the African Redemption Fund? Per the Constitution, per the latest.
What's the question?
What is the current contribution required by each member for, well, let me see, I don't know if it's required, but the parent body is empowered to raise a certain amount of funds from each individual. I got some background. Hold on.
I think the parent body asks for $12.50 a month. And on here it's saying something about $5. Every member of the Negro race shall be asked to contribute to this fund a sum not less than $5. This contribution to the African Redemption Fund shall not be a tax on active members, but shall be a voluntary contribution by all Negroes.
What about the second paragraph?
The parent body shall be empowered to raise a universal fund from all Africans annually for the good and welfare of Africans, those at home and those abroad. This special contribution is $10 or assessment shall not be a tax on active members, but shall be a voluntary contribution from all Africans. So I do think that might be the start of the $10 tax.
Well, they're saying it's not a tax specifically, but the contribution is $10. It's a voluntary contribution per the latest Constitution. I say Constitution. If we want to change that, we can make a constitutional amendment to have that increase, but per our commitment to the African Redemption Fund, we should all at least be voluntarily contributing $10 at least.
Right. I think it is really important to realize what a tax is. So a tax is something that is required from us to actually contribute to the African Redemption Fund. It's not a tax. It's not something that that we have to do, but it's something that we strongly suggest being done. It's a contribution.
Yes.
You can't tell somebody what their sacrifice should be. So, but that's all. It's not a tax. It's not, because if it was a tax, then it wouldn't be that we have to pay $46 a year. we will have to put whatever that contribution on every year. It'll be something that, you know, when we pay our dues, that's a tax. So, you know, it's not a tax.
Yes, sir. So that's the annual fund section, African Redemption Fund. I didn't talk about, I guess we can talk about it later. But yeah, at least $10 a year voluntary contribution, and that is in addition. Well, that, you know, that's separate from our active dues and our yearly assessments, yearly tax. Questions, comments on African Redemption Fund per Constitution?
May I ask, what is the purpose of the African Redemption Fund?
Man, you're gonna make me do some work now. That's a great question. I got to go to the Constitution.
So they said it's for Africans at home and abroad. So the purpose is to help Africans. So I mean, I guess that's decided by the parent body or the HEC, but you know, so if we see that if it's something that needs to be done, you know, I mean, and what I remember, so the President General has said that we could, you know, the African Redemption Fund, we can actually borrow money from it. I mean, if someone, you know, is going through some hard times, they need some help to pay their mortgage or things like that. If they have been contributing to the African Redemption Fund, then they could reach out to the High Chancellor, I believe, and you know, and maybe get a loan and secure a loan, you know, that they can, you know, so it's to help Africans.
Yes. It's very general. I think the Constitution states it best here. Purpose of the UNIA-ACL annual fund shall be to create for the organization working capital for the good and welfare of all Africans, those at home and those abroad. So as President Marua was saying, whatever, you know, needs to be taken care of here or on the continent, we tap into the African Redemption Fund for that assistance.
Thank you. And I think maybe this would help to activate the civil service to get it up and running. The civil service department, if it's for, you know, to help.
We'll talk about it. We got to talk about it more in depth. As everyone should know, our focus, you know, for past few years, and I think I'm pretty sure will continue to be our focus, is our international headquarters restoration. So a lot of, you know, proposals and ideas and suggestions have been tabled, you know, to an extent, so that we can spend some time and focus on restoration of our headquarters. This is the only building that we still own as a UNIA. So all hands on deck, so to speak. And this is our primary goal and objective as of right now. High Commissioner, you want to chime in on that? You've been doing a great job doing, you know, organizing our fundraisers over the years.
Yeah, so yeah, thank you, Brother John, for mentioning that. You know, so it's one of the things that we are doing is trying to make sure that we can restore the international headquarters to its glory. I mean, it's really holy ground. There's so many great of our great leaders have actually stayed in the international headquarters in Philly. Philly, I mean, it was, you know, that's where the members of Division 121, you know, they mortgaged their houses and homes in order to actually buy that building. What happened was over 20 years ago, it was a fire in that building, and the members, you know, made sure that, you know, that it wasn't tore down and straight demolished. But since then, since that fire, we hadn't actually put money into it. But the building is paid for. it's a building in Philadelphia. You know, the neighborhood is being gentrified. Temple University is right there. But it's our building, and you know, it's a shame that we only have 2 buildings in the UNIA that are owned by the UNIA. It's the one in Philadelphia and the one in Toronto. They own their buildings. So, you know, it's real important for us to, you know, to help and to save the international headquarters. So I know that you all, everyone has these raffle tickets where an individual can win $1,000. But you know, in order to be able to pay for that $1,000, we got to sell these tickets. But I mean, so it's there. That's a fundraiser. That's, you know, all funds would go towards the rehabilitation of the international headquarters. So I mean, it's something that we all should, you know, take to heart, you know, and you know, have some pride in. You know, we want our own international headquarters. I remember about 20 years ago when the Nation of Islam had a big push to buy Mosque Mariam, to get Mosque Mariam, because they wanted to make sure that their headquarters was up and was something to be proud about. I say that we should do the same thing. We need to actually, you know, save the international headquarters. The international headquarters was a place where when people would come to Philly, HECs, they were able to actually stay in it. They had it was apartments in that building. People was able to stay there. They didn't have to go to the white man to find housing to attend HECs or conventions. They were able to actually stay at the international headquarters in one of the apartments that was in the sub basements or the basements. They had kitchens down there, bathrooms. It was lovely. It was very nice. You know, a big ballroom on the 3rd floor where, you know, some of the great events was actually being held. So we are working real hard to raise money and to make sure that our international headquarters is you know, is worthy of being called a house of the UNIA. So thank you, Brother John, for touching on that. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you, High Commissioner. And Division 421, we will recap that sentiment for funding for the international headquarters at our upcoming executive meeting. But we talked about the commitments. It's time to capitalize before we go off to HEC. So any other questions, comments on African Redemption Fund or international headquarters fundraiser?
Africa Redemption Funds.
Yes.
I have, you know, I've been coming out of my pocket to help that orphanage with the 500 children. And but I did ask for help from Parent Body back in 2019 and the Virgin Islands. I couldn't go to Virgin Islands, but I did give Brother Missa a donation so to help him to go. And I think it got tabled then. But anyways, I would like I spent out of my pocket $2,900 or so, 700 and something. And that I would like credit for my efforts, you know, to help in Africa, in the Africa Redemption Fund, so I don't be looking as if I'm lacking.
Yes. Ma'am Mukaraba, that is a proposal for HEC. I believe you have submitted a document to be discussed at this HEC. So we'll make sure that's documented correctly and it is part of the HEC agenda in Philadelphia. But that's I can't address that tonight. Okay. All right, let's try to get through Article 14. Oh, someone just asked, what is the purpose of the African Redemption Fund? Do we remember? Purpose of the African Redemption Fund?
Yeah, to help Africans
At home and abroad.
at home and abroad.
Sure.
Right.
Section 4, the purpose of the UNIA-ACL annual fund that be to create for the organization working capital for the good and welfare of all Africans, those at home and those abroad. That is not
Good and welfare. That's a good word.
Oh yeah, that is there. Okay, because it's after vodka. Dang, I'm gonna have to make some updates for next week. I missed this vodka section and I jumped straight to section 14. But there's some vodka changes that made it into 2021 August Constitution that weren't in the March. So I'll review that, and any omissions I'll discuss next week, hopefully. All right, we'll go to
Excuse
Article.
me, President John, before you proceed, are we not maybe missing an extra point there on the purpose of the Africa Redemption Fund? That it's also to maintain the headquarters of the UNIA?
Well, that's included in event. Wait, what does that say? That's included in for the good and welfare of all Africans, those at home and those abroad. Specifically, Section 4, and I'm reading the amendment. The purpose of the African Redemption Fund shall be to create a working capital for the organization and to advance the cause for the building up of Africa, is what it states on page 44 of the small book. But as far as how that is defined, it's very general. Restoring the international headquarters can be part of that. Building a school in Sierra Leone or a hospital in Sierra Leone can be a part of that. But that's up to High Council on how it's used. Sister Mukarab, I see you got your hand up.
Oh God, I forgot. Let me think.
Dang.
I forgot. I'll try and remember.
Okay. If there aren't any questions, we will proceed to Article 14. Okay. Article 14, who is responsible to establish the Bureau of Justice?
Can't get this.
Yeah. Who should establish the Bureau of Justice?
Parent body.
Parent body for what purpose?
To protect all Negroes.
In the 2005 version, let's go to it. Bureau of Justice shall be established by the parent body of the UNIA-ACL for the protection of all members of the Black African race. Protection of all Negroes was in the original. So we're going into Bureau of Justice, Article 14. Who will be the head of the Bureau of Justice?
Okay, I found it. The Bureau of Justice shall be composed of 3 members. It shall have for its head an attorney at law, attorney at law, who shall be known as the chief of the Bureau of Justice. One of the members of the Bureau shall be its secretary. Composed of 3 members. One of the chief should be a attorney at law.
Yes.
And one of the members will be appointed or elected the secretary.
Yes. Thank you, Sister Mukaraba. But yes, the head shall be an attorney at law, is how it is defined. But it's not a particular office of High Council. but an attorney at law, and this is on the parent body level. Questions, comments so far?
This
So,
office still needs to be filled.
Yeah, so I'm thinking that, I mean, even though it's not it's not specifically stated, but the Council General actually fulfills those requirements, right?
Council
Good.
General is on. Council General, what's your interpretation? We are Article 14, Section 2.
Yes, the Council General could fulfill that duty, but it also creates another attorney to fill that position. And my first thinking is that it should be another attorney and not the Council General.
Why is that?
Well, it doesn't mention the Council General.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
It just mentions you know, an attorney. And the government has, well, at that time, many attorneys who could fulfill the position.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's a huge responsibility right there.
Yeah.
That's a huge responsibility. So if we are up and and we are running and we have the divisions that we once had, and once we are back where we should be, that's a huge responsibility. So I respect the Council General for stating that. It did not say that the Council General is over that, but I'm saying that the Council General does, according to what was stated in the Constitution, he could be that.
Yes. Yeah.
And but I think it would need to be 2 more people on that. So you need to have a secretary and then another member. So
yes. The saving grace, I would argue, President Marua, is the first question. It's up to the parent body to establish that Bureau of Justice. So the parent body would be deciding who that Chief Justice or Attorney at Law is.
Right. And again, who makes up the parent body, Brother John?
The High Executive Council and division presidents.
Okay. All right.
Per the glossary, page 82 in Large Constitution.
Okay.
Any other questions?
I like this part, if I can speak.
Go ahead, Sister McRobin. I do want to try to get through the next article shortly, but go ahead.
The local committee shall have the power to dispose
Hold on.
that's not it.
There you go.
It's
No,
over here.
but you giving the answers to my next questions.
Oh,
You ain't even get
sorry.
there yet.
I thought it was important points to make, so you were already addressing them. Thank you.
One sec. Give me a chance. Give me a second. Number 3, who shall the Bureau of Justice cooperate with?
So the Bureau shall have to cooperate with it, a committee of 3 from each local division, composed of the president and 2 members, selected from the general membership. This committee shall be under the supervision of the Bureau.
Yes. So each local division should have a local bureau, which consists of the president and 2 other members. And we would work with the parent body Bureau of Justice. Questions, comments on cooperation?
So what would that look like as far as what I mean, as far as is how we living in this country? So would the Bureau of Justice be the Department of Justice? And then each city, each division had their own or county, like you know, you got counties and you got you know, states have their own state justice department. So each division will have their own justice department. I mean, I was just trying to see how would that look.
That is my understanding. And I think, yeah, that is my understanding. In each division, we should have a local Justice Department.
Yes, sir.
It goes in line with Section 1 of Bureau of Justice stated, and I'm gonna pull that up. Bureau of Justice shall be established by the parent body of UNIA-ACL for the protection of all members of the African race.
Right.
So we need local representation. I would also argue that this is in line with the aims and objects of UNIA that state that in every community there shall be ambassadors and embassies for the representation and protection of all Negroes.
Yes,
so I would say that it's important for us to have that local representation, but we should also have parent body leadership. That would be how I would.
Yes. So when it comes down to being the voice of the people, which we in the UNIA believe in, the voice of the people, we make sure that everyone has a voice by electing their division leaders.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Point made.
That's the foundation, you know. That's where it all starts.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions before we proceed? I may need to extend tonight to 10 o'clock if y'all can bear with me, but I would like to get through Article 15 for certain reasons. What is the purpose of the local committee of the Bureau of Justice? So yes, it's stated, local committee of Bureau of Justice is in the Constitution. Okay.
The local committee
There you
shall
go.
have the power to dispose of all matters not of sufficient magnitude. The power to dispose of all matters not of sufficient magnitude to require special attention of the Bureau, and shall report to the Bureau their action therein.
Yes. Can you read the next section as well? That's included, I would argue.
The Bureau, with the consent and advice of the President General and High Executive Council, shall have the Bureau, with the consent and advice of the President General and High Executive Council, shall have the power to make such rules and incur such expenses as are absolutely necessary for the proper carrying out of its objects.
Yes.
Thus will be with the consent and advice of the President General and High Executive Council.
Yes. So first note is a level of autonomy. If it doesn't require the special attention of the Bureau at large, then the local committee should address those concerns. It also says with the consent and advice of PG and High Executive Council, the local bureau shall have the power to make such rules and incur such expenses as are absolutely necessary for the proper carrying out of its objects. You know, that's we're not there.
Court costs.
Incur such expenses. Yeah, but that's if absolutely necessary. I think that's that's a strong argument to make. If it's absolutely necessary, it should be obvious at the same time. But at the end of the day, we should know that our local committee has the power to dispose of all matters that are not of significant magnitude to require special attention. But we have the right locally within our local Bureau of Justice to address whatever needs to be addressed for the protection of our people. Any questions?
So with the local with the Bureau of Justice, the local Bureau of Justice, what would they actually deal with? So when we start talking about they deal with things that does not reach a certain magnitude. So what would they deal with? Some of the things, what's some of the examples that Bureau will handle?
Counsel General, I'm gonna lean on you to help me out. I know locally, we've had, some brief discussions to, as far as providing bond, bail, knowing the locations of members that are incarcerated, providing support to members that are incarcerated. Counsel General, is anything that you'd like to say? I know that we've done some things like that. Counsel General, you there? But that's where my mind goes is legal issues. If there are local legal concerns that we can address ourselves, legal representation, whatever it may be, if we can provide that as a division, we don't need to go to the Bureau of Justice on a high body.
Yes, excuse me, President John. I couldn't become an unmute there, but yes, it would definitely just be considering the local matters there that would need to be decided and not necessarily be referred to the national, given national attention.
But yeah, I'm in the realm of legal. This is a legal thing. So any local legal concerns that we can address amongst our, president and executive body, let's do that. That's the way I read it.
Okay, so with the local Bureau of Justice, would it deal with interpersonal issues with members? So if someone in your division borrows some money from someone else in your division and they didn't pay, would that be something that goes to the local Bureau of Justice?
I would definitely say so. Yes.
Okay.
May not even. I mean, Counsel General, what do you think? I mean, is that even a Bureau of Justice issue, or should it just be? Is there another, executive body, or what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it would be permissible to address an issue between two members, locally, a conflict where the local body feels, again, it's a local matter and not really worthy or of being referred to the national body.
Got you. Yeah.
If I could chime in on that one.
Lady President.
I feel like it depends on what the state of the matter is. If it's like UNIA official matters, then it should be held like on a mass meeting or something like that, as far as like severing the issue. But if it gets beyond control, where the president of that division just can't keeping in matter, keeping in control or whatever, then yes, if it's in UNIA matters, I think it should, be moved up to HEC just so you can get a higher, like a judge, like it's kind of like, I think of it like municipality, like from municipality to the Congress to the Supreme Court and all that little stuff like that. Like it's like a hierarchy. So it's just like how we're trained to deal with even the civilest matters. But all again, that's just how, our divisions are trained or whatever. But I think it is like, it depends on if it's UNIA matters, then yeah, it should go through like certain steps and protocols. For instance.
Yeah, I was just kind of like looking at what issues would actually be we would take to this department. I've so in our division we had some issues that have come up when people were actually not acting as good Africans, and they were doing certain things, and certain behaviors was happening. Is those some things that actually should go to the Department of Justice?
I would argue no. Counsel General, what are your thoughts? Counsel General, you there? Attorney Imhotep. Okay, you stepped away again. Yeah, I would still argue no, but I would like to know Counsel General's perspective per Constitution.
While you're waiting, could you see if Ross Marvin is on, and then he could address about the ID card?
Ross Marvin, are you with us? This one I don't like Zoom because it just got a name. It look like a lot of people here. They watch TV. Ross Marvin, you there? All right.
Okay.
So funny.
He's probably working, knowing him though.
Yes.
He's a hard worker.
Let's get through these slides, and we'll try to reach back to Counsel General and Ross Marvin for clarification. Last section is Article 15. This is the last section of the Constitution section of the Constitution. So, title of this section is Council of Elders. And our first question: when was the Council of Elders established?
The Council of Elders that was established as a permanent body of the Universal Negro Improvement Association and African Community League in August 2008 is hereby added to the Constitution.
Yes. August 2008, we have officially had a documentation of an Elders Council. Have we practiced that? Mom Mukaraba, do you know that, or Brother Marua?
Yeah, we had a council of elders. Sister Mercedes Madison was kind of like administrator, and she might have been the Secretary General at the time. But anyways, I was on it, and Brother EK, Brother Ramsey, and Sister Sadie, and that, I think that was probably around 2012, because I think it was 2010 when I pointed out to the parent body that it looked like we were a government because we had a preamble constitution, because everybody's been calling it an organization. And so when I said we have a flag, a national anthem, because this looks like a government. So I asked Brother Farouk Bey. So he thought I was so smart, I guess. He told me I could be on the Legal Defense Committee. And so then when he researched, he found out it was an organization, it was a government. And then he told me something I didn't know, and that was that you had all those elements, the preamble, constitution, the flag, the national anthem of Ethiopia, and then you had a plebiscite, and I didn't know what that was. He taught me. That was when 25,000 people came through Madison Square Garden to say they wanted to be in the government of the UNIA as the, I don't know what in the proper term of what they are, members. Oh, I guess is what they usually would say, members. And the Madison Square Garden, I tell this story all the time. It only held 8,000 people. And so when they put 25,000 people through the Madison Square Garden, that put Madison Square Garden in a limelight and made it famous.
I didn't know that part. Makes sense. The dropping information. Okay, we're almost finished. 2008. We are pushing to have the Council of Elders reestablished, so that's something to look out for at HEC. As far as the purpose, what is the purpose of the Council of Elders?
The Council of Elders are going to overseers of every member of the Universal Negro Improvement Association and African Communities League for the purpose of maintaining the teachings of the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey and to be on alert for any devious practices by any member or division or department.
Very important purpose. Any questions, comments so far?
I have a question.
Mr. Lawler.
So what necessarily is the difference between the Council of Elders and the Justice Bureau? I mean,
I would say Council of Elders is internal, Bureau of Justice is external. So Bureau of Justice protects us from external bodies, and Council of Elders protects us internally, is the way I see it.
okay. So then the question that was asked before about if, for example, if someone,
The money thing,
yeah,
that was before we touched on Council of Elders. Yeah, I would argue Council of Elders prior to Bureau of Justice.
all right, Bureau of Justice. All right.
It's an internal dispute. It's not, yeah, like I said, Bureau of Justice is, we're having issues with police or the city or being attacked or threatened. That's where we need Bureau of Justice. When it comes to internal discrepancies, internal issues, lack of respect, I think that's Council of Elders personally.
So Council of Elders would act as a lower court and the Bureau would act as a higher court?
No. Council of Elders is a high court.
Huh?
Council of Elders is a high court.
No, but I'm saying, is it higher than, okay, but you're saying there's two different courts?
Yes.
I got you.
All
right.
Issues.
So the Bureau of Justice is external and also for the protection of our government, and the internal one is for I guess just to kind of guide people along, like I said, to keep us on the right path of what we're doing and that type of thing, and so that's internal.
Yes. Sister Mukaraba was reading section 2. There's one section that she stopped, and I want to read that because it's not a question, so we'll miss it. It says the UNIA-ACL Council of Elders will be required to accept each and every offense that may be presented to them for the council to offer advice for understanding, clarity, or consideration, and recommendations or rulings for those concerns. The Council of Elders may also instigate their own inquiries to clear up doubts and confusion among members. So I think that term among members, that for me implies internal disputes.
Okay, thanks.
Next question, does the Council of Elder issue laws?
No, the Council of Elders does not issue laws,
Yes. What do they issue?
mandates, and rulings, which must be considered the respectful and soul-centered strength. Mandates and rulings, which must be considered the respectful and soul-centered strength of the Universal Negro Improvement Association African Community League.
So
Respectful and soul-centered strength is the mandates and rulings.
yes.
The Council of Elders' decisions are never to be dismissed, overlooked, or set aside by any official or member or group. When the Council of Elders has been called upon to decipher the meaning of an issue or ruling for whatever reason requested.
Yeah, the Bureau of Justice is legal, and I would argue, I don't want to say spiritual because we're talking about Council of Ma'at, but I mean
Grievances and complaints.
it's more familial, like family concerns, is the way I see it. Respectful and soul-centered strength of the UNIA-ACL Council of Elders decisions are never to be dismissed, overlooked, or set aside by any official or member or group when the Council of Elders has been called upon to decipher the meaning of an issue or ruling or whatever reason requested. So I say they're a high body because their decisions don't seem to be able to be challenged.
When they're called upon. I got a question, President.
Yes.
Do we have an active Council of Elders?
No, we don't. We're working to reestablish that. That's why.
Oh, okay. That'd be cool.
Exactly. Thank you.
Sister Sadie Madison passed, and she had been spearheading it.
Yes.
I remember, and I'm gonna just segue for just a second. I remember a couple years ago they had tried to take the elders up to like 75. Is it still 70, 75?
Well, no, that was proxy vote. We were trying to get the proxy vote down from 75 to 65. It was voted to stay at 75, but that's proxy vote for elders to vote at HEC and convention.
I think it should be 68, but carry on.
Okay.
I don't know if I put an age in there this time when I put it through again.
Well, this discusses age. What are the requirements to be on the Council of Elders? I be knowing where y'all going already. What you need is the council.
60. A member of the UNIA and ACL Council of Elders must be 60. See, you're lower than I said. 60 years of age or older. A division member in good standing and financially current, an elder on the council must not be a member of the parent body. Every elder must abide by the bylaws of the Council of Elders, and an elder must be willing to study the Constitution of the UNIA and ACL so that when called upon to offer explanations, it will be truthful and most righteous understanding of the teaching of the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Sister McRobert. Excellent reading. Yeah, it's hard for me to copy and paste. Well, I don't have something to copy and paste, so I had to write all that out. I wasn't really going to do all that, but we should have the constitutions to follow along. With the completion of that question, that completes our Constitution section of the Constitution, and we would be going into the general laws section of the Constitution.
Yay, did you get your plan accomplished?
What do you mean? No, I mean
your class plan.
You talking about this class?
Yeah, did you finish all the ones you wanted to finish?
I mean, I want to do the whole Constitution, I ain't gonna lie. But we don't have time prior to HEC, but yes, this does satisfy the HEC requirement. Everyone should have some foundational understanding of what HEC is, who our high officers are, the term of office, qualifications of office, the responsibilities of the office.
Well, you're not going to quit now. You're going to go through this process convention, and that's kind of relevant for now.
I was just about to ask that same question, President. She took it right out of my mouth.
Well, convention is in August.
So we're gonna continue this lesson till we're completed with the Constitution throughout until then, right? Because this should last until then.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think so too, sister.
Lady President, hold on now. We have a calendar. We put out a calendar at the beginning of the year. Our Tuesdays are not supposed to be, after next Tuesday, we're supposed to switch our topic to something else.
Oh, can we vote?
I was just about to say, sister, I was just about to say I wasn't aware of that either. I thought we were gonna finish the Constitution myself. So this is all new to me too.
We'll come back. We have class. We'll do this again next week. If there are any questions, I'll continue into general laws. And we'll continue next week. I'm not sure when we get back from HCC, I'm gonna need a break though. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, it is
I
a
was gonna
lot
say,
of work.
President,
We
we can talk
appreciate
about it,
you,
and I
but
can
thank
take
you
up
so
for the.
much.
I was about to say I can take up for President. We'll talk about it, but I can take up the next.
That's
You
what
got a
I'm
lady
talking about.
president, bro. You got a lady president.
Yeah, all right. I just
You can
want
do
to
it.
see that.
Raise first.
What's your name, sister?
Sister Right Ebony.
I didn't get to meet you last year at the high HEC.
Yeah, you probably did, but you're gonna definitely
back
see
and
me
shy.
again. I'll be back.
Okay. I'm looking forward to seeing you again.
Race first.
Let's all try to get there.
And I would just like to commend
Brother Maru, you went out.
Right. Oh, I'm sorry. I would like to commend Atlanta for doing this. This is something that every division should do once a year. You should actually have. You should go over the Constitution with your members.
Yes,
so I would like to commend Atlanta for doing it and for allowing us to actually participate in it. So, we are all on the same
page.
Page, yeah, yes. So thank you, Brother John, for doing this. And I think it'd be kind of unfair for us to vote on this. I mean, I think Atlanta should actually, make that decision as far as what they plan and how they plan. And I think it would be kind of unfair for us, Sister Mukaraba, to vote.
Okay.
Thank you, High Commissioner.
That's why I always listen to my elders.
But at the end,
I'm not your elders. I'm not your elder, Sister Mukaraba.
I think you was born in the UNIA. I joined 30 years ago. How old are you?
Yeah, you got.
I respect your opinion, brother Marua.
Well, thank you, Sister Mukaraba. I really appreciate that. I was raised in the UNIA from a child. So yes, indeed.
We could close out. We can close out. We can close out unless y'all have any questions. I'll just open the floor for questions. If not, we'll close out.
I had a question. I am interested in this, this becoming a new project amongst all of us to establish this, elders council, because I just think it'd be beneficial for all of us nationwide to get them, more, get them together and get them more engaged in their form of, studying Garveyism, because they can do their weekly things or whatever that the council do. I'm really just interested in that part right there, because that is important. Just like the brother Marua, like he said, he grew up in Garveyism. You know what I mean? Like it need to be a place for all of, not saying, but all of our elders to have a place where they can keep everything updated and always be, that source for all of us to go to, when we need it. So I think that just would be a cool thing for us to work on. But race first.
Yes, ma'am.
So that was Lady President Ra Ebony, right?
Yes, sir.
Right. Were you talking about the Council of Elders?
Yes, I was.
Okay. All right. Well,
The Council of Elders.
Yeah, we need to get that up and running because one thing about an elder, when an elder leaves, we've lost the library. So it's like we have been fortunate enough to have some real strong elders here in Chicago. And I can't thank the Creator enough, for having them and for them to still be active for their race. So it's like as long as the elders doing it, then who are we to not do it? Who am I to not to do it?
Yes, sir.
If my mama can show up for a UNIA event, then I know I can. So,
Absolutely. Anyone else? Okay. Sister Mukaraba and Sister Laureen, I will be reaching out to you too. Brother Anthony, I'll be reaching out to you as well in regards to consolidating some resolutions.
I should.
We're looking at a co-sponsor co-sponsor type of thing. There's several proposals, resolutions, and amendments. Some of them are duplicates from different divisions. So we're going to try to get the divisions to bring those proposals together and have a joint proposal. Save a little bit of time as well as automatically, you'll have some support for that proposal.
Okay, sounds good.
Right. So Atlanta and Chicago will be lodging together, right?
Yes,
at
sir.
AGC?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great.
Yes, sir.
Great. And maybe you can help Brother Anthony develop the justice.
Another job for me. Thank you, sir.
I mean, Sister Mukaraba already put it out there. She put it out there. She said that you should actually have more than one position. I heard her when she said it.
Hold on, I have 40 of them.
Division 407 is going to be looking for sisters that want to come together and have a suite. $285.
$285. Oh, that's the Marriott
Yeah.
issue. That's the Marriott proposal from Secretary General.
Yeah.
Yeah, Atlanta pretty much locked in at this point. We with Chicago.
I'm gonna try and get a summer ride with Chicago out to the Philadelphia. I hope everybody ain't flying.
Yeah, we driving.
Yeah, we driving too. But I don't think we have much space, Sister Mukarama.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think. You know what? We need to actually
I'll
look
catch
at
the bus.
we need to look at starting maybe renting vans and actually going together. So
yeah,
that might be a better way for us to to do things and more economical.
To my understanding, we had there was a travel agency that was approved at convention.
Right, it sure was, wasn't it?
What's wrong with that?
And that's a way for us to actually make some money too. So that we can actually that's some employment right there.
That's Brother Shaka, actually. Is he eligible for elder council? He's 60.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
I need to get with him. He one of them libraries you talking about.
Yeah, he is.
Mensa, Sister Mukaraba. We got a lot of powerful elders.
Yeah, and don't forget our Secretary General, because she grew up
raised in it like
too.
you.
But she ain't eligible.
She's not an elder yet. to my
What's an
baby
elder?
sister, man.
How
I
old you
guess
got to be to
60.
be an elder?
60.
I
Being
guess
a council
60.
elder 60.
Well,
You
see,
know,
yeah.
we
Well,
really
I
out
mean,
about not letting people
I'm not
vote.
finna,
You better not tell her age.
He
I'm
ain't
not
60,
finna tell her age, but I
46,
think she
47.
might be. I think
Almost
she.
hitting at the door.
He
I
might
mean,
be
I'm
51.
54. She 50. I mean, she 15 years older than me. So
You know what? You know I'm snitching, right?
You do that.
So you're telling her age without telling her age. You
nah,
are
I'm not
snitching.
telling her. Hey,
I don't
Nah, that's
believe
no,
it.
my
no.
shiro. I'm telling.
I don't believe it. Nah.
I can't believe you did that.
What? I mean, that's my big sister. She told me I'm not an elder, but I can, you know, she
Looking like
she,
she
she
40.
kicked me out of
Exactly.
elderhood.
That's his younger.
Well, that's wonderful. I tell you, when you're doing what you love, you stay happy. And when you stay happy, you'll stay young.
Man, I love black people,
Yes, sir.
and I love being black. So
It's 11 out of 10. Unfortunately, we got to close it out for the night, get some rest, and get back at it next week with preparation for HEC. Next week is, hold on, let me see. Next week is
That's the last one. That's next Tuesday. That's the last one before we leave out.
Okay, yeah. Yep, that'll be it. That'll be the last one. And yeah.
we'll see y'all Wednesday.
Yes, sir.
Okie doke.
I know what I wanted to say. Everybody, we started the store. You got to have a membership, and I'm gonna be pushing for us to have interstate trade, and also to collect produce from the gardens. So at the store, we may produce our own product, produce.
Yeah.
And the Shrine of the Black Madonna is having a synod June the 20th through the 23rd. And I want to encourage you to be active there, especially if you're a Christian, so that you can we'll have some input into the land down there. I've been invited to write a proposal for the land down there in Atlanta. It's 680 acres. And my vision is that we should have a perimeter. We should have, we're going to grow some produce there. And that's going to be also the start of interstate trade here. And yes, we're hiring for the co-op in Detroit, Michigan. And what else? I would love for somebody to go with me to Freetown, Sierra Leone. So I'd have like a little delegation of people who are going to be committed to establishing that farm there. And we're going to refurbish the school. And then I think that they're going to teach these, what do they call them again? Ostracized woman how to become a nurse. An ostracized woman might have been raped and made pregnant outside of marriage. All right, that's all for the announcements.
Thank you, Mama. I'm looking forward to HEC discussion. Lady President, will you be able to close? But Marua, you got your background.
Okay, family. Give me right fist in the air. One God.
One God.
One aim.
One
aim.
One destiny.
One
destiny.
Africa.
Africa.
For the Africans.
For the
Africans.
Those at home.
Those at
home.
And those abroad.
And those
abroad.
I go in peace, family. Race first.
Race first.
Race first.